We are after it this afternoon. Hard to believe the show's half over. A little bit of rain outside. We'll start back with the weather like we do. A little bit of thunderstorm activity outside right now, but it's very sporadic and not too heavy for the moment. Like I've told you at the top of each hour here so far on the show, there's some long range forecasting that gives us some slight hope of relief. It's not a real forecast, actually, just a model run of what could be coming, but we could have some drier a little bit drier, a little bit cooler air toward the end of the month, which would be right on time. Distinctive Pools, speaking of the weather, ready to help you build a nice, beautiful pool at your house that you can use all year long. If you build it right, it becomes really an outdoor living space, not just a swimming pool. I'd have been happy with just a swimming pool growing up, but nowadays families are gathering by the pool during the cooler months with football about to start and movie watching nights and the holidays. Even entertaining during the holidays with pool. These things are beautiful now with all the lighting packages and a lot of automated things to take care of it. For example, I've seen one Distinctive built. You hit a button, the pool covers itself up. You're not out there struggling to keep the leaves out of it all winter long. And so then you can use it all year long. And Distinctive has just got the deep experience to come out and build it correctly to get you a proper design, because Gary Levesque alone, the owner of Distinctive, is well over 40 years in the pool building and hardscape business, and then you add that team up. These are the people you want to not only design it but to build it and build it right. It's distinctivepools.com, distinctivepools.com. Man, all right, let's see what else we got. Let me go to the police shooting story, because I don't think we have too much more clarity. Let me scroll around real quick, make sure I didn't miss something during the break. But we've got a shooting incident where it appears the Birmingham police shot a person. I don't know if it's a man or a woman, and the person died. This created quite a scene around St. Vincent's Hospital. This was this afternoon, and I don't know if, let me see if we have any updates from it. So this is the general narrative, and again, I'm relying on our friend Carol Robinson, who's down there doing this reporting. There was something that went down at the McDonald's. We don't know what. The person in the fracas at McDonald's ran from the police on foot. We believe the police chase wound up out in traffic there on University, and then the person took off toward the big parking deck that's kind of nestled back there between some of the towers. There's really two decks at St. Vincent's. This looks to be the one that's right behind that north tower. It's right there in the front of the building. There's one off on the side on that side street. So just to give you some landmarks, many of you have been to St. Vincent's, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and the same McDonald's that's just right there almost on the site. So the chase ended up in the parking deck. Well, all we know is witnesses say there were as many as 5 shots fired. The person's dead. Cops are everywhere down there trying to secure the scene and, of course, allow for an investigation of what happened. We do not have any other details as of this hour. So again, was it the cop that shot 5 times? Was he being shot at? What were the circumstances of having to use lethal force? What started the foot chase in the beginning? And is this person a man or a woman? All we know is cops shot somebody and killed them this afternoon, and we'll have to wait for more information on that, which could be forthcoming. We've still got 2 hours to go here on the show. So just stand by. We'll get you updated on that if anything else comes out or breaks on that subject. Let me look at my list to make sure we're not missing any other breaking or developing news, anything. We had an interesting statement put out today by the Vice President and Robert Kennedy Jr., and, of course, our own Dr. Brian Christine, who is now an assistant at HHS. They were all there in a joint 3-person statement, and to summarize, it goes like this. Their investigations have revealed that many hospitals in this country were deliberately steering young children toward transgender surgeries for profit. Not because it was ethical or the right thing to do, but they had a whole program of profiting from these surgeries and giving horrifying medical advice to families in a bad situation. They have turned those findings over. In fact, Dr. Christine put out a report called Wolves in White Coats, a fascinating title. He's turned that over to Justice. We'll let the Justice Department determine any legal violations, but it involved multiple programs and multiple hospitals, and specific doctors are named through their federal investigation. We could go deeply into it, and we did in the first hour. If y'all want to talk about that, we will. How insidious, what have we turned into? And at the end of this statement, and I was glad they said this, we've got to rebuild trust in these institutions, in the hospitals. And it's not just doctors, because there are lots of doctors. Y'all know my son's a doctor. All these guys are doing is saving lives and dispensing treatment. But at some of the higher levels, at the executive levels, and the bureaucratic levels, people treat Fauci, for example, as if he's a scientist. Fauci was a bureaucrat. Fauci was a government bureaucrat when it all came down to it, with a sort of a godlike ego that he could play with people's lives. And so to me, this scandal is very much connected to that scandal, where there's ethical corruption because of political ideology, which should not be anywhere near our medical decisions. So at least, as I said in the first hour, at least with the 24 election, we're not on that path anymore. Say what you will about the Trump administration, these guys have done a 180 on stuff like this. And if they weren't elected, we'd still be funding it. There'd still be more mutilated kids. You'd not know a thing about this stuff. They're taking it in a completely different way. And we'll talk more about that if you want to the next couple of hours. We will go to the phones. Let me just go ahead and get started with that this hour and get over to Ronnie, who's over in T-Town, 545-9950. If you want to jump on the show with us, we'd love to chat with you this afternoon.
Hey, Leland.
Ronnie, what's happening,
hey,
man?
Bud. Hey, man. You see where our Little League team is the first time, I think it's 20 years that we're going to be in the Little League World Series?
Who is we? Alabama?
Alabama, yes.
There's an Alabama team, or it's a team from Alabama?
It's Phoenix City. Phoenix City.
Okay.
We'll be representing the Southeast.
Who are?
And their starting pitcher is a female. Her dad
serious?
was a major league pitcher. Both of her uncles played Major League Baseball, and she's striking them out left and right.
Hey, that's a pretty good story.
She is great. You need to look it up. And, of course, I read it on AOL, and the first comment on AOL.com was, oh, look, transgenders can go back. And I was like, hang on. This is not a boy in girl sports. This is a girl dominating boys in their sport.
And she's not a girl pretending to be a boy. She's a girl being a girl and kicking ass.
She is a girl, and she is good.
Yeah. Well,
you need to look at the videos, and her curveball is nasty. And it is. So we're actually going to have a team on ESPN out of Phoenix City in the Little League World Series in Williamsport.
When does that start? When can we keep up with it?
I believe it starts Wednesday
of
next week, I believe.
Those things used to be on ESPN. Do they still carry that stuff, or is it just?
Yes, they do. It's they carry all the games on ESPN. But you really need to look this young girl up. She is amazing.
Okay, I'll do it. I appreciate that tip. That gets to be fun. And I didn't know. I guess each region. I don't even know how it works. Each region.
Yeah, you got south. There's each region: north, northeast, south, the southeast, southwest, west. So, then it's the rest of the world plays the American champion. So, but we definitely, the last team to make it to the Little League World Series from Alabama was also Phoenix City.
And that's that last part's the part where Taiwan shows up with kids, little boys that have beards and stuff that are clearly not 12 years old. Every single time. So, it's like, hey, man, you dropped your car keys. I mean, this guy's 8 feet tall and he's got a beard and he's like, this 12-year-old from Taipei. I'm like, shut up.
But you really need to look at the video. This girl, she's an elite pitcher.
What's her name? Do you know her name off chance?
I cannot. I've read it, and I cannot think. I've watched the video of it, but I did read that her dad was a major league pitcher. Her uncle was an outfielder. Her other uncle was a catcher in the major leagues, and her mother played softball at a professional level.
So she's got a pedigree.
She has that, and it's amazing. She's striking these little boys out left and right.
Good for her.
You can tell it's eating at them.
This reinforces the competitive argument that we're talking about with especially these hags in the WNBA. I don't know if you noticed, but that woman who was named after the mustard that got herself in with the blonde wig that got herself in trouble this weekend for arm wrestling or whatever she was doing, she clawed a couple of people last night right in the face. And this player has no business on a competitive team, but that issue's different than this. If you've got the ability to play as whoever you are, get in there and play and let the competition play itself out. In this case, this girl's as good as the boys. If you reverse it, though, it becomes unfair. It's fair to the boys if
It
she
does.
kicks their
It does.
ass.
Now,
Yep.
if this is a girls' softball and it's a boy pitching, that's totally unfair.
No doubt. No doubt.
But yeah, the WNBA can't get out of their own way. I cannot wait. The first dunk in history is going to be by a transgender in the WNBA, and I cannot wait to see it.
I hope they have hairy
All right,
armpits
love
and
you, man.
everything.
See ya.
Thank you, man. Thanks, Ronnie. Ronnie fired me up today. I really have done my best to avoid this WNBA story because I don't know. I get why people are fascinated with it, and I wind up watching some of the coverage myself when I'm scrolling through trying to find news. But we got so many heavy things dealing with us. We're at the crossroads of being overtaken by Islam. Our country's being sabotaged. That's the best word I've come up with to describe it. We're being sabotaged with the human beings. They're importing people to sabotage the country. That's the point. They're still doing it in Europe. We got the Islamo-Commie axis of evil that's gotten together, and they're actually winning elections. There's some horrifying stuff to a Reagan baby in his, pushing 60 that I can't believe we'd even be entertaining those. But somehow the WNBA and these bitches slapping each other and fighting and being racist and all this stuff has just captivated the country. Now, yesterday I had the soundbite. Y'all heard it by now of that coach of this Indiana team, both at one chance going, humility will win, kindness will win, and y'all can go to hell. That's one of the funniest quotes in years because she's a dumb coach that's probably not articulate or able to handle the moment that she's in. Then the league gets together. And by the way, I pointed out, I had to post this on socials, that she's got a big old cross necklace dangling around her neck while she's telling everybody to go to hell. I'm like, okay. Some people do wear the cross necklace like it's a charm, like a lucky charm or a rabbit's foot or something. I don't know. So kind of a double message there from this lady. And so, she got flamed by everybody and all these people are piling on her or whatever. She's in a box because of her own personal politics. She can't do the right thing because of her own belief system. So they're confronted right now. The whole league is confronted. So the owners, this was so funny. I saw this when I got up this morning. The owners, the presidents, the commissioners, whoever makes up this ridiculous group of people, got in a room to come out with a statement or decide how to handle it because they got these former NBA players that are now declaring themselves women. As Enes Kanter Freedom said the other day, he said, I'm just going through my feminine stage. They're putting on wigs and they're going to declare themselves eligible just to make mockery of the situation. And I can't get enough of that. And by the way, these are transgenders of color and we should all stand with them. So, so the women get in a room, or I guess maybe there's men involved in the commission part. I don't know. And they can't come up with the definition of woman. They met for hours and came out of there with no definition for what the W other than woke in the NBA stands for. They cannot do it. They have trapped themselves, literally painted into a corner, and watching them squirm around about it. They've made some dismissive statement about the NBA players saying something like, well, that's not a genuine effort. That's not legitimate. Well, why not? There's not much difference. And so I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying them trying to fight with each other. But that they had to even have a meeting on this stuff points out the absurdity of it. It's completely absurd. And all the people do, if you stick up for little girls having their own competitive space, which used to be sacrosanct, the feminist movement in this country fought for Title IX. It was a lot of women, and I'm sure some were conservative, but it was a lot of liberal women, but it was women in general that said let our girls have equal access to sports. Y'all remember how all this went down before Title IX? Your high school could have all these boys teams and then let the girls play volleyball, and that was about it. Maybe there was a softball team back in the day. I don't remember too much about it. But the girls didn't have the same access on the college and the high school level. So Title IX came along and said, if you got 5 boys teams, you got to have 5 girls teams. You got to achieve a balance. So schools they actually had to sacrifice some of the boys teams and create girls teams to achieve a balance. There were boys wrestling programs that got cut because they couldn't have a boys wrestling if they didn't have enough girls come out for wrestling. So they'd come up with enough sports that girls could play. And what happened over time was now these girls matriculated up through playing tennis and softball and all these other sports that got to be popular. Over at Alabama, softball's huge. And down at Auburn, they got a whole stadium just for the girls' softball team. That didn't exist. And so Title IX forced that balance. And then here comes this tranny thing where these same people are going to allow men to step on those fields and take titles, records, even injure and hurt these women. So you've had the Olympics stand up to it. You've had women's tennis stand up to it. And they're just not going to do it. And probably the only scientific way to deal with it is to gender test. It's about chromosomes, baby. It's either XY or XX or it's not. And that can't lie. You can cut all the twig and berries off you want and put on a fresh chiffon dress. You still what you is. And your hormones are what they are. And the competitive advantage of men over women is absurdly obvious. And so, anyway, so here we are. And now it's all, the whole country is suddenly focused on this sport that was widely ignored, had no money. They lose like $30 or $40 million a year because they just can't pay for all these athletes and draw enough visitors and TV coverage. But I suspect part of this is just soap opera, wrestling style controversy just to get people to watch. So now, just like some people watch NASCAR for the wrecks, people are tuning into the WNBA to see who's going to get their weave snatched or their eyes clawed out with some big old fingernails and some head bobbing and nasty talk between a bunch of women in a boring sport where most of them can't hit a free throw. Most of them, not a few. Most of them can't hit a wide open layup. And it's comical. But anyway, whether I like it or not and want to talk about it or not, it's all in the news. And we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's just fun. The left can be entertaining. God bless them. Southern Skies Dermatology. Let's talk about your skin and your health care and all that. If not for our push every day, some of you wouldn't think twice about going and getting a basic screening at the dermatologist. You hadn't seen anything. You hadn't noticed anything. You're young and healthy. That's for old people. I'd think twice about that. Anybody is vulnerable to some extent, no matter your skin color. We got a lot of African-American listeners that don't think about it. Bob Marley died of a melanoma. We're all vulnerable to some extent. Some of it is because of damage we did in the past. It's how we live our lives and other stuff that happened to us. So let's all take care of each other and go get checked. And let the trained eyes at Southern Skies look you over. This is all they do. They're really good at it, at both detection and removal with the Mohs procedure. Dr. Mario is just he's heroic helping people avoid a struggle with death over melanoma. They do it all day. But if we don't do our part, it's too late sometimes. So we got to go. We got to go early and catch it early and get it taken care of. Southern Skies Dermatology.com. Southern Skies Dermatology.com. All right, we got to move super fast. Got a little jammed up there with all the coverage. Let's go to the quickly. We'll get the bottom of the hour breaking in here, and we'll come back. I'll get you an update on the St. Vincent's thing. We'll get some more phone calls in here. John, you hang on. You'll be next. 545-9950 is the phone number if you want to get on the radio as well. That's true for all of our shows. So jot that down somewhere in case we ever hit a button and you want to have something to say. Back here in just a minute, Leland Live. Y'all stay tuned. It's 4:36. Leland Live talking to NM5. Alabama Dental next up. Y'all know about my dentist, Dr. Brian over there. And there's 4 dentists. Y'all, 4 dentists mean 4 different specialties. It means extended hours. It means as late as 7. It means till Saturday on Saturday nights, Saturday mornings, Saturdays at all. Are you serious? Yeah, even during football season, man, you could get over there and get an appointment, get your teeth done, get back by game day, and get on the couch and get that knocked out. I don't know about you, but if anybody adds anything to my week, sometimes I have to move everything, and it gets that way sometimes. It's nice to know we have a dental practice that'll give you a little flexibility. They can do that because of the way they're set up with all the investment too, and all the diagnostic and treatment equipment. You'll really appreciate them and the team. I can't say enough about how pleasant everybody is, how much they help people. I love the stories this week from our own staff. Miss Eula got her teeth fixed where she accidentally fell and knocked her tooth loose. Dr. Brian got her all straight. She was so proud of that in our staff meeting this week. It's nice to see. It's Alabama Dental. They'll take care of you too. alabamadental.com. Well, let's go to John. He's on line 2. We'll go straight back to the phones. Keep going there. John, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. That with this WNBA stuff, I got to add that to the list because I'm also claiming to be a transgender lesbian Somalian looking for a relative to marry so I can open a Leering Center in Birmingham. And but now, I can, pick up basketball on the side. I'll be making all kind of money between the government and the WNBA. Heck, man, make a killing.
Well, look, if there's anything we know from the new history lessons of the new history of the country is your people built this nation. I mean, if there's anything we know about the founders, it was generally transgender Samoans that built the communist transgender Samoans who also dabbled in Islam that built this country. It was damn sure not the white people because they're evil.
Hey, Leland, my grandfather, when he was in a prisoner of war in Korea, he was not eating dirt and earthworms in that prison camp and getting beat by barbed wire for this kind of crap in this country.
I know it. But have
a great day, bud.
Thanks, man. I've seen more and more statements, and we've talked about it a lot. Man, he just steered me down a dirt road. But, you got to know your history and your national identity in order to defend it. You got to be able to articulate it. You got to spread that news to other people. You got to teach it to another generation. And I feel like that's where we failed. I really do. And I take it upon my generation because it wasn't the World War II guys. My grandparents, best generation that ever came through here. These people were solid as a rock. All of them from all walks of life, no matter. Even the African Americans in that generation that were so heavily discriminated against, unlike all the bitching and moaning we see today, which is just manufactured, they faced legitimate issues. My grandparents lived through the wars and the depressions and kept going and made it better and kept going. And slowly we kind of forgot to teach that to the next generation. These kids are clueless. And when we get outnumbered that way, eventually when we get outnumbered that way, it's over. It's a slow death. It's a suicide pact. And honestly, I don't think these new vestiges that we're seeing where they're establishing these other ideologies in the midst of our country. For example, people keep sending me the stories. Some airport has put Muslim foot baths in the airport. I mean, that may sound innocent. That's the beginning. That's how it begins. Go talk to Europe. I was over there in 1990 and I saw it. That's how it begins. And that ideology is a conquering ideology. It's not my opinion. It's world history. Read a book. So I'd just suggest reading. Reading is fundamental. Read a book. Look into it. See what I'm talking about. It's always been conquest and violence. And sometimes they'll get beat back and moved to other areas. But it becomes first it's demands for accommodation, and then it's demands on humanitarian grounds for. In fact, I saw a story today where they're trying to create a food pipeline to get halal food into the schools in certain areas. It seems like an accommodation and it seems reasonable at first, but the more it's accommodated, the more it grows. I just saw an alarming story and I can't verify it yet. I was scrolling past it a second ago because it's coming from a lot of directions. So it's that stuff. And then it's the commie stuff. which I firmly believe the Chinese are infiltrating. Put it this way, Qatar, for example, is one of the largest nations to donate to our colleges and universities. Remember, just a little while ago, after the October 7th horrifying attack against the Israelis, suddenly it was our college campuses that exploded in this phony Free Palestine nonsense. That's not even educated. That whole statement, from the river to the sea, that was coming from college campuses. They were harassing students, chasing them into buildings, beating up Jewish students, harassing anybody that didn't agree with them on campus. I mean, physical violence in these a-hole factories that we call higher education. And the funding for a lot of that ideology is coming from other countries. It's coming right in here and buying American thought. The Chinese are doing the same thing. There's a story a little while ago that I saw. I'm not trying to be alarmist. He just made me start thinking of this sequence of things that I've been reading about all day. Some former special operations police commander from the Chi-Coms has just bought a private building in the middle of Washington right next to the White House. What? Same thing when they were buying up facilities next to our military bases. All this was going on during Biden because that fool was asleep, didn't care anyway. It's sabotage. We're sabotaging from within. These little seeds are what get planted and grow into kudzu. We were out walking the other day, and one of our neighbors, a neighborhood over from us, she was out trying to control some kudzu, and we were talking about how that plant got here and what it was about. This is not a bad metaphor. I'm going to spring it on you anyway. Kudzu was brought into this country, primarily into the South, for erosion and soil erosion control, because it grows fast, has a good root system, trying to keep the soil from washing away. This wasn't too long after we'd seen the Dust Bowl out west from the drought conditions. People had that on their mind. We were more connected to the land. So it was brought in here. It's a native Japanese plant, is what I understand. I grew up all around it. We used to slide on it with refrigerator boxes because it's slick as ice. We had a bunch of it growing on a railroad track and with a big steep embankment, and all the kids would get out there and slide on it. We were a bunch of little kudzu country kids, but it grows out of control, and it literally takes over, and it grows inches and inches a day when the conditions are right. And so that experiment went nuts, and to this day we still can't get rid of enough of it. There's a private lake near me where they're having a certain fish species is taking over, and it's consuming the food and the ecosystem of the other fish. In nature, if you don't have a semblance of assimilation and a balance in these things, and if it doesn't grow organically, one will take over the other. The more dominant and the more persistent really will take over the other. And we're sort of in the early stages of some belief systems that are incongruous. Let me use a simpler word. They're just a completely opposite belief system than the United States Constitution and our national identity. We are based on freedom and personal liberty and small government. These two ideologies, both communism and Islam, are based on control and submission, period. And you don't have to look all the way back to Marx and Muhammad in 711, was it? Just look at the last 20 years. Wherever they go, they demand accommodation, and then it's domination, and it's damn near frightening. And it's picking up pace, and our side is not properly equipped to deal with it. We got plenty of people that can raise alarm bells, but nobody understands how to properly handle the situation. And it doesn't need to lead to violence, but there will be no assimilation with these ideologies. You can't be kind enough and acquiescing enough for it to work out for you in the end. They don't believe in that. They will take advantage of your generosity, then eat you. It's a fact. I'm talking to Americans. I'm not talking about white or black. I'm talking to Americans, white and black and Hispanic, all of us that want to enjoy freedom and be left alone and work hard and earn stuff. That system does not work with their systems. Flat fact. In speech, in the way women are treated, in the way gays are treated, in the way anybody else is treating, when you're up against an ideology of pure submission, violent submission, The people that believe in their side more are going to come out on top. And here's the sad fact for you: they are more. There's more fidelity to their belief system among these groups than us. It's true. Not everybody, and I don't mean it's everybody. Clearly not you and me. But you got to have enough people that know what they're fighting for, what the identity of it is, what the philosophy is, why it's important, what's at stake, that will defend it and defend it fervently without fail. And I'm not sure we have that right now. And sadly, it's largely our political class that's caught up in it. You got a few people that are raising alarm bells. That's all they're doing. Generally because Republicans don't believe in really getting their hands dirty over anything. They love to campaign on the problems, but they don't want to really fight for solutions as a group. So I don't know how it all ends for the country. I know how it ends for the world. But we're in a weird spot. We made it 250 years, which, by the way, if you know your history, is a lot longer than the founders thought we'd make it. They didn't think we could handle all this freedom. And in some cases, we're seeing that. Some people cannot take enough personal responsibility for themselves to be free. You can write that down. I just made that up. You've got to be willing to take responsibility for yourself to be a free person. Otherwise, you have to subjugate yourself to somebody else's chains for your subsistence. And we got a whole generation of people that are willing to do that. That's it. That's it for us at that point. When we get outnumbered, when the seesaw tips over to the other side, there's no coming back. There's never been coming back. It's happened like dominoes all over the world. Somebody said the other day, Osama bin Laden, he didn't have to fly those planes into the building. He should have just run for mayor. He could do a lot more damage that way. Here's Mike in Coleman. What you got, Mike?
Well, I listened to one. Okay, you can tell from the accent. I moved here from a blue state. And I will never live in another blue state the rest of my life. It's the reason I moved to Alabama. But I was listening to an interview with our Democratic candidate for governor the other day, and he was making the point when asked about the United States being a Judeo-Christian nation. He was saying, no, it was founded on Hindu and Buddhist and Islamic values.
He said that? Doug Jones said that?
Yeah, it was on your competitor the other morning. I think it was Wednesday.
I don't doubt it. Listen,
Tuesday. But I was like, how could somebody be running for office and be that clueless?
He is so wrong. There wasn't a Hindu in the room. We know exactly who everyone. Look, dude, read the Federalist Papers. We've got the documents. They wrote it down. We know who was in the room. We know what their persuasions was, what they believed, and what they debated. And there wasn't any of that in that room. There was none of them in charge of any of this. It's a completely fabricated history. The only copy of the Quran in the entire damn government was Thomas Jefferson. He read it and became immediately alarmed and wanted us to start a navy, which we did, because they were taking he read it to try to understand why these backward, barbaric third world people killing and capturing our merchant ships and disrupting our economy. Same crap we're doing right now in the Strait of Hormuz. And he became alarmed and realized you have to fight them. You can't pay them off. It's a death cult. We're going to have to deal with it. That was the beginning of this country. It was complete opposite of whatever Doug Fluke is saying about it.
Well, I'll just put it this way. I ran from one place that I was definitely outnumbered for my beliefs. I ain't got no place else to run. So I guess I'll just have to plant my feet and fight.
Look, Tuberville would have to step on his crank in the most spectacular way for this guy to actually win. It's possible because right now on some issues, I think there have been some misfiring, but I don't think Doug Jones is a serious threat. Not in these times either. He happens to be in a party that's traveled over to Cooktown.
Oh, yeah, he was talking about how he was a moderate. Then when he talked about, when he didn't know the basic founding of this country, I was just dumbfounded.
Yeah,
I'm used to. Not to sound bad, but I'm used to dumb Democrats. I had enough of those in Colorado.
I was about to ask where you're from. Yeah, I just got to experience some of that not too long ago. Beautiful state, kooky people, man. Look, I appreciate the call. I got a hit. Call us back sometime, Mike. I like your perspective being outside the zone. I did not hear that interview, but it's not surprising. Look, American leftists try to rewrite history to suit their 2026 values that didn't exist in those days. We're trying to judge people 250 years ago for the times now. You cannot do that. That's pure ignorance. And 250 years ago, they believed that the only way to have a free nation without central control was you had to have a God-fearing people who were, listen to me, class, this is good stuff, who were self-regulating. And how would they do that? Based on their faith in a Christian belief system. That was it. And of course, the Jewish people that were there at the time, the original donor to start the whole Revolutionary War was a Jewish guy. He gave the first money to fight for freedom, and they wanted to be left alone. And they thought, you know what, these values, one religion system extends from the other, are the values that these people live according to what they say they believe. They can govern themselves in a polite, decent, civilized way without government telling everybody how to behave and controlling our lives. And then the skeptics, Ben Franklin among them, said, okay, we'll see how that goes, knowing that the ill will of men could eventually take over. And here we are. But I think we made it 250 years, which is longer than some of these experiments have lasted in world history. They studied the failed civilizations and what went wrong. And what went wrong was everything the Democrat Socialist of America and the Democrat Party and Doug Jones and these other people were suggesting. For example, and I got to get the break in here, we're in people want to call it an affordability crisis. We're in that crisis because of too much government. Yet the people they want to turn to fix the crisis are proposing more government. How stupid are these people? Very, I would suggest to you. Alabama Bass bringing you the show tonight. That is Mike and the whole team over there, Jill. Of course, Jill and John are they're taking over the place. They're the next generation to move this thing forward for the last 40 years, 4 decades of bathroom experience and renovating homes and making things beautiful. And now they're keeping the mission going. And I'm so proud of what they're doing and some of the new direction. If you feel a little uneasy trying to get a bathtub or trying to get a shower, y'all let them come over and take a look. They can improve your situation, whether you just want a fresher, better designed bathtub or you want an easy entry system with slip-proof surfaces and handles and shelves. We're all going to grow into that phase if we're lucky. We're going to live old enough to need this stuff. And some of you are there. Make your life easier, make your home safer, and do it with a quality company that has a better product, a better price, custom work, and no pressure. It's alabamabaths.com, alabamabaths.com. Back in a minute. All right, y'all, 458. Man, I had turkey lasagna today from my Project Lean Nation meal. I will have eaten, because I'm eating one when the show's over, too. It's 3 for 3 today with my Project Lean Nation meals. They're delicious. They're so convenient. Somebody else has done the thinking for me, and I need that. Some of y'all need that, too. You're busy. Mamas, I'm talking to y'all. You're out there running around with the kids right now. You're trying to make time to feed them and feed the family. These meals are affordable, and they're effective. Let me explain. It's not just weight loss. And by the way, I think I have lost a little weight. I haven't weighed in yet, but I feel better. And at my age, you quit worried about how you look as much as how you feel and whether you're being healthy, because you want to live a long time. Your priorities shift. You kind of recognize, I'm not going to look like I did in my 20s, but I can feel better. I can do better than this. These are prepackaged flash frozen meals available to you downtown Homewood at Forrest's location, his location in Homewood, that one. Y'all, these are great, folks. They've got the plan for you. They'll help you figure out what you need, figure out what works, let you sample all the flavors and the snacks and the shakes and everything else. It's an amazing program, and I trust Forrest and his family to really provide you with the best. It's good to feel healthy, and I feel better. I'm telling you, a week and a half, I got energy. I sleep better. Y'all check out Project Lean Nation in downtown Homewood.